Bonjour, welcome to Wahsa Distance Education Center's radio Zoom classes. This is MEL3E, grade 11 workplace math, and I'm the teacher Bronwyn Slate. If you'd like to participate live today, you can call the Wahsa studio at 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017. You can listen on the radio at 91.9 FM and also on the television at Bell Express View channel 972. You are always welcome to join me live through the Zoom link, which is available from me, your teacher, and also your DEC. Our classes are scheduled Monday through Thursday from 9 till 10 in the morning, and we are now in our third week of our 9-week course. At this point, you should be thinking about submitting your first unit at least. So a reminder that the support questions, the questions with the pencil icon, are not for marking. These are practice problems. So please decide which ones and how many to do. You know yourself best in terms of what practice you need and what you're understanding and what you're not understanding. So you decide for you. If you are understanding a concept, feel free to skip questions. You don't have to do them all just because they're there. I encourage you to do them if you are struggling with an idea, or and just doing some practice is always a good idea, but you decide for yourself. If you do need more practice, please ask, and I'm happy to send you more practice. The key questions, the ones with the key icon, are the ones to submit for marking. So please do all of these questions and show all of your work, your steps, your thinking. This way I can give you credit for all of your understanding. And if you make a calculation error or something like that, then I only take off part marks, opposed to if you just give me the answer and the answer is wrong and I don't know why it's wrong, then I can't give you part marks. Also, this means that if you are misunderstanding something, this gives me more information so that I can actually support you and help you understand what you need to understand that concept. So then how do you submit your work? There are 3 different methods for submitting your work for marking. The first is to scan your work and send it electronically. If you have a device, you can scan your completed work through the Apple devices, have a Notes app that has a scan function, and the Android devices have a Google Drive app. Both scan functions are fairly straightforward. If you are uncomfortable doing this or you just don't have that availability and you just want to take pictures and send it to me, that is totally fine as well. It just makes the file smaller and a little bit easier for me to mark, but no worries. Then you can send it to me through email to studentwork@nnec.on.ca and CC it to bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca, or you can also send it to me through Facebook Messenger to bslate.wahsa. The second method is to drop your work off in Sioux Lookout. We have an outdoor mailbox at our 74 Front Street location. We are the bright red building next to the post office, and we have a small white mailbox next to our side entrance. We are not yet open to the public, hopefully soon, but at this time, just drop your work off in that mailbox and I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. The third method is to hand your work into your DEC. Your DC can either send your work through the Express or fax it to 807-737-1732 or toll-free fax to 1-800-463-7852. Students are also welcome to fax their work in if they have access to a fax machine. If you'd like to connect with me through social media, this is a great way to access our content and to chat about any questions or concerns you have. Both my Facebook and my YouTube channel are under the name bslate.wahsa. So if you friend me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can get notifications about every time I upload a new video. All of our radio Zoom classes are recorded and I post them shortly after airing on YouTube, and then I share them on Facebook. So then you can get the replay of every day's lessons really quite easily. Also on my YouTube channel, I have short videos explaining common errors and confusing concepts. So if there's anything that you're struggling with, it's a good place to start your understanding or your exploration of trying to understand the concept, just because I might have already addressed it, and then you don't have to just do general Google search and trying to figure out where might be useful or accurate information. Math is a really visual subject, so I strongly encourage you to connect with the videos, either joining me live through Zoom or watching the replays on YouTube is really going to set you up for the most success. If you're unable to do this because you don't have reliable internet or it's just not possible within your life, that's completely understandable. But just let me know, and then I can send you a copy of the recordings so that you can watch them at the Learning Center or somewhere with a device that doesn't connect to the internet on your own time, so you get the full experience and really set yourself up for the most success. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and contact me. My email address is bronwyn.slate, and that's spelled BRONWYN.SLATE@nnec.on.ca. My Facebook is B Slate Wahsa, so you can reach me there and talk to me through Messenger. You can call me at the office at 807-737-1488, extension 2209. Or you can also call toll free at 1-800-667-3703. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., but I teach from 9 to 11 in the morning, so that's not a great time to get a hold of me. All right, so we are continuing with lesson 5 today, as we didn't have time. That was too much of a jam-packed lesson to do it in our last session. So we are wrapping it up, and then we're going to do some practice problems to just make sure that we really have lots of practice for all of these making purchases type of questions. So a review of what the learning goals for lesson 5 is completely. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain how to make change in the most efficient methods. You'll understand sales tax, including how and why it's different in locations or depending on the location. And you'll be able to explain how discounts, sales prices, and after-tax costs work. That last one is the one that is new for this lesson. The other two we covered in the previous lesson. So the success criteria, knowing that you met these learning goals, because you can determine change received in making a variety of purchases. You can calculate sales tax, and you can calculate discounts, sales prices, and after-tax costs for various items. All right, but let's first activate our brain and do some mental math. I do not believe that drills and tests that focus on speed for math facts is really very useful or appropriate for learning your math facts. I know that these tests cause lots of anxiety and stress in students, and students carry this feeling through all of their math education and then even into their adult lives. It's very, very common for people when they meet me and I say that I'm a math teacher, they say, "Oh, I'm not good at math. I hate math. I was never good at it. It stresses me out." And though Mad Math Minutes are not the only reason that this is, the principles behind Mad Math Minutes are what really contribute to people having this lifelong feeling of math hatred or math stress. So we don't do Mad Math Minutes in our class, but knowing your facts is important. Understanding your numbers, being comfortable with your numbers is important. So we work on developing strategies that you can use in various situations that are about using numbers that are comfortable for you and that are friendly for you, and using strategies that make sense, that are logical, and that you're understanding why the numbers are, or why the facts work like that. So today's question is 15 times 6, and we're going to be using the strategy of breaking factors into smaller factors. So first off, just some terminology to remember. When you're multiplying, then your two numbers or more numbers are your factors, the numbers that multiply together to get your answer or your product are your factors. So what we're doing today is we're going to take 15 and or 6, and we're going to break it up into smaller numbers, which means that will be easier to multiply. 15 times 6 is not a fact that I was forced to memorize as a kid, but that I didn't have any tools to figure out how to figure this out. So when we're say breaking up into smaller factors, what that means is that we're going to change these numbers into numbers that we rolled that are multiplying. So like 6 is the same as 2 times 3. We've done it before where we break up numbers and we add them together, but this time we're breaking up into factors, which means that we are multiplying those numbers together. So we're saying 15 times 6 is the same as 15 times 2 times 3. And with multiplication, we can multiply in any order. We don't just have to multiply in the same order that the numbers show up in. We can multiply in any way that is useful. However, with this one, I think it's probably most useful to start with the beginning. So 15 times 2, that's just doubling 15. And I know that 15 doubled is 30. So 15 times 2 is 30. So 15 times 2 times 3 is the same as 30 times 3. So then 30 times 3, well, I know that 3 times 3 is 9. So 30 times 3 is going to be 90. And that's all the same as 15 times 6. So sometimes breaking up your number into smaller factors means that it's easier to do your multiplication because you get different combinations of numbers that you can multiply that might be friendlier for you. We could have also broken up 15 and said 15 times 6 is equal to 3 times 5 times 6. If that was easier for you, that totally could have worked too. Or we could have done 15 times 6. We could break them both up and done 3 times 5 times 2 times 3. And then, so there's lots of different options. These all could have worked, and you still would have gotten to the same answer of 90. Sorry, I wrote 19. I don't know why. I'm a little bit foggy headed today. So 15 times 6 is equal to 90. And doesn't matter which method you did it, either way, any of these ways would have gotten you to the same answer of 90. All right, mine's on. Let's engage in some prior learning. Let's think about where we're going with today's lesson. So we're going to talk about sales tactics. We're talking about discounts today, and often in my experience, when you're in a store, they're not always set up to be the most clear. The point of stores are to make money. That is what their goal is. It's not to get you the best deal. It's not to provide you necessarily with the best service or the best options. It is to make money. So sometimes the sales are confusing or set up to make you spend more money. So we're going to look at a few examples. So here, this example on ready to eat. No, Brookdale chili without beans is what it says, is on the tag. And here it says you have save. So it says $1.09, save 20 cents with a tag above it that says $1.29 and it's crossed off. So it looks like you're saving 20 cents. Awesome. But then if you peel back this sticker, which is what the person who took the picture did, you can see behind it that the price was always $1.09. So you're not actually saving any money. They just have said that usually the price is higher and that now you're saving money, but really the price is the same as it always is. So that does happen, is that sometimes stores will show that will list a price that is higher than the price that they usually were selling, and then end up selling it to you at the regular price, pretending that it's a sale. You can't necessarily always know that, but it is something just to be paying attention to in terms of, and paying attention from week to week when you are, say, you're grocery shopping, you're buying something the same time over and over again. Paying attention to what your prices are will really help you being aware to see if things are actually on sale or if they're just raising the price to then lower the price. Okay, here's another one. Now this one is, it says pounds because this is where I could find the example, but just ignore the pound sign and just imagine that it's a dollar sign. So all this doesn't matter in terms of the relationship, is the same. So here it says in big writing, 3 for $6. So you're like, oh, I should buy 3 and spend it for 6 because that's going to give me a deal. But actually here where it's smaller, it says $2, which is indicating that if you buy 1, it's for $2. In my experience, this happens at some local grocery stores all of the time. So it's best to look on the tag to see if it says something like, or 1 for $2, or where it says one is going to be $2.50 or something like that. Look at the tag. Don't just trust the big type. Look at the small type too, because that will give you all the information. And often 3 for $6 is the same as 1 for $2, right? If you buy 3 and you each one is $2, then you're paying $6. So 3 for $6 is no deal. They're just getting you to buy more, which means that they get more money. Then here, this one also is in pounds, but ignore that. Still talk about dollars, and it says reduced in big letters. It's got this yellow sticker which makes you think you're saving money, and it says was $6 and now $5.99. So you're only saving a penny, which if you're paying in cash, it's going to be rounded up anyway. So you're not saving any money in Canada. But I mean, it's not a big deal to buy this anyway. Like I'm not saying don't buy something that is reduced by a penny, but just recognize what's going on and that this isn't actually a sale, and be cautious when you're don't just assume because it says reduced again that you're saving a lot of money. Look at the whole label. And then this last one, it says buy 4 or more at $2.50 each. So it looks like the $2.50 is really big. So you think, oh, you're going to get, it's going to be $2.50, but you have to buy 4 or more for each of them to be $2.50. Otherwise, if they're less than 4, this sign says you pay $3.29 each. So if you don't want 4 or more, then you're going to be paying this amount, the $3.29, which is fine, but you just want to be paying attention because then you will be surprised when you're cashing out, if you only buy 2 and you're thinking you're going to spend $5, but really you're going to spend $6.58 on that amount, on that thing. So just again, look at the entire label, the entire price tag. Okay, so what are, we know we need to be paying attention to, but what are we actually exploring? What are we learning about today? So we're looking at discounts. So discount is a reduction in price. Anytime when a place is trying to sell you something and they are selling it at a lower price, this would count as a discount. So when discounts for goods and services are offered, the rate of the discount is usually advertised as a percent or a fraction of the regular price. So this is why you need to be comfortable with percents and fractions, because they do show up in your everyday life. So here's one example where it says up to 80% off. So 80% seems like a lot. It could be less than that because it says up to. So 80% is the most that it's going to be off, but it could be less than that. But then what does that actually mean in terms of when you're actually, how much are the actual items that you're purchasing? Or the same here on this other one where it says sale 1/3 off everything. So what does that actually translate into? That's what we're going to be figuring out today. And when you see these discounts, what does that actually mean? How do you actually find out what it is that you're going to be spending? So there's 2 different ways that you can do this to find a discount price. You can take off the amount that is advertised. You can find the amount that is advertised and subtract it from the total cost, and that's going to be the cost that you are paying. Or you can figure out what the opposite of the discount is, how much that is the price. So let's do one method and then we'll talk about the second method, because it can be confusing if I try to talk both at the same time. So let's do this with an example. Julie is purchasing a tennis racket during a summer sale. It is advertised at 40% off the regular price of $165.99. So 40% off, that is the sale. So the first method, what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm going to figure out what 40% of the price is and subtract it off of my price. So it's going to be 2 steps. So the first step is find 40%. So this is similar to what we've been doing already before. So find 40% of price. So we have our price, $165.99 times 40%. So which is $165.99 times 0.40. Remember, 40% to a decimal, you do 40 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.40. If you're doing your percentages incorrectly, then that's going to make a really big difference to your answer. Okay, so then let's calculate that. So 165.99 for some reason, my button is pressing everything twice. Awesome. It's going to make things really easy today. Okay, so pay attention. Sometimes your calculator or your mouse is just going to make your life difficult. So I'm going to type in my numbers. Equals $66.39.6. So $66.40 if we round that up like we should. So $66.40 is 40% of the price. So that's how much we are going to not pay. Right? That's the part that we're taking off. So then the second step is to subtract from price. Because that's how much we're not paying. So then how much are we actually paying? So $165.99, take away $66.40. And that equals what? $99.59. So Julie will pay for taxes $99.59 for this tennis racket. So that is the first method where you do 2 steps and you figure out, you first find the amount that you're not paying, how much the 40% off, the discount, how much is coming off, and then you subtract that from the original price. The second method is to think about it as sort of as the opposite. So if you think about, if you're taking 40% off, that means 100% you're subtracting 40%, right? So that means that really you're paying 60% of the price. So you can think about the subtraction first, which is maybe you don't need to write down. Maybe you can just think in your head, because 100 take away 40 is 60 is pretty straightforward. It should be, most people probably are comfortable with that subtraction. If you're not, no worries, it doesn't matter. But you can still, this way you're thinking about, okay, you're paying 60% because you already took off 40%. So then what that means is that you're going to do your total price, $165.99 times 60%, which remember is $165.99 times 0.60. So if we do that, $165.99 times 0.60, we get $99.59.4. So $99.59. So we get the same amount. Both ways are completely fine. I don't have a preference which way you're going to do it. You can change it up. You can do method 1 sometimes, method 2 the other times. Whatever makes more sense for you in the question. It is totally okay to do both these methods. These are both completely accurate, good methods to do these types of questions. If it's easier for you to pick one method and always do it that way, that is totally fine too. You do what makes the most sense for you. I just wanted to show that there are different ways of doing this type of question so that you know that you can have options in terms of what makes the most sense for you. All right, so now let's look at sales tax on discounted items. And this is on page 50 of your IL book. So it is important to remember that sales tax is always added after the discount is removed. So we always do the discount first and then the sales tax. You should not be being taxed on money that you're not actually paying, because think about it. If you were to pay the tax, if you were to have your net price, your original price, do the tax, and then take the discount off, you'll end up paying tax on money that you didn't actually spend. So you do the discount first and then the sales tax. Super important to remember. So let's look at an example. What is the total cost of a netbook computer that is 20% off the usual price of $299? Whenever we talk about total cost, we're going to assume that we're doing sales tax And because we are in Ontario, we're going to be doing HST, which is 13%. Unless it says something else, unless it says that we're somewhere else, we are always going to do HST equals 13% because this is what the tax is in Ontario. So it makes most sense to just work off of Ontario. And then when we're thinking about other places, think about other sales tax. So first, we need to calculate the sale price. And then we need to calculate the tax and total. So these questions have more than one step. So it's important to remember to do all the steps to really answer what the question is. So to do the sales price, so if we're going to do the method where we figure out what 20% is and then subtract it, so $2.99 times 20%, so that's equal to $2.99 times 0.20 is equal to $59.80. So $59.80 is the discount. That's how much you are not paying. So that means that the actual sale price, we do $2.99, take away $59.80. So that is going to use a calculator, $239.20. So that is the sale price. So then to figure out the tax, we need to take the sales price and we need to calculate the 15%. And remember, there's also different ways that you can calculate the tax and the total. So we're going to do it. We're going to take our sales price, so $239.20, and we're going to times it by 13%. So that is $239.20 times 0.13 is equal to $31 and 0.096. So that's going to be $31.10. So that's your tax. So then to find your total, you need to add it to $239.20 plus $31.10. So calculating that. So there's lots of steps. So you need to make sure that you're actually doing all of the steps. 270.30. So the total cost is $270.30. So you're still paying, even with tax, you're still paying less than the original price because of that discount. So that's why it's important to take the discount off first. And as you can see, organizing your information so that you're really showing all the steps really helps me understand if you make a mistake, where that mistake is happening. If you just were to give me $270.30, okay, in this case it's right, but if you would have said that it was, if you would have made a miscalculation and said that it was $300, that I wouldn't know where your mistake was made. And if you did part of it right, or if you did all of it right, wrong, if you just gave me the answer of $300. So that's why it's important to give me all of your work. Okay, so now you're ready to do the support questions on page 52, question number 10. And yep, now we're going to move on to estimating sales prices, your HST, and your total costs. Because as you saw, that's a lot of steps. And so doing it exactly using your calculator when you're at a store is probably not very realistic. So this is on page 53 of your IEL booklet. So when you're shopping, it can be useful to estimate the cost of an item. Most of us are not going around with a calculator, though some of us, like me, I did take out my calculator on my phone the other day and calculate something when I was at a store. So you might do it sometimes, but I did it for one item, not for all the things that I was buying. So it's useful to estimate what you're spending so that you have a rough idea, even if you don't know it exactly. Sometimes an estimation is a good enough information. So when you're estimating, generally what you do is 3 steps. You're first going to round your price. So you're going to make it a nice friendly number that makes it easy for you to estimate. Then you're going to, step 2 is you're going to estimate the discount. You're going to guess how much is being taken off. Estimate, not a guess. You're going to use an informed guess to figure out how much is coming off. And then you're going to estimate your HST, your taxed, which, remember, your HST is 13%. So a good way to estimate your HST is to do 10% of your price, and then a third more. So you're doing 10% plus 3% equal 13%. And a third, 3% is about a third. It's not exact, but again, we're estimating. So first, we're just going to practice estimating the HST before we practice estimating the whole cost. So for this example, we have a t-shirt that is, the price is $29.99. So we're going to estimate what is our HST. So first, I'm going to round and say, okay, that's $30. T-shirt that's $29.99 is $30 basically. So then for my HST, I'm going to say, okay, so 10% of $30 is $3. And then a third of 10%, so a third of that is equal to $1. So that's going to be, so the HST is going to be about $4. So the total cost of this is going to be about $34. And that gives me, if I have 2 20s, that I know that I have $40 and I've got enough money to buy that. So a Lego set, if we have, it's $54, we could do $54, or we could estimate it to $55 or even to $60. Those would all be fine, but let's do $54 because it's not the most friendly enough number. So let's see how it works when we don't have friendly numbers, or as friendly numbers as other friendly numbers. So the HST is going to be 10% of $54. So that is $5.40. So then we want 1/3 of $5.40. So I don't know what 1/3 of $5.40 is. That's not a super friendly number. But if I think of $6, which $5.40 is pretty close to, a third of $6 is $2. So I'm going to say that it's roughly $7.40. Now, it's not going to be that exactly, but we are estimating. So it's okay that I don't have the exact number, the exact amount. I probably could even round this and say, well, it's going to be about $7. I could, again, as always, these estimations do not need to be exact. When I say, if we're saying you can estimate, you can make, it's okay if your numbers are different. It's fine if you don't get the same thing as I do. It's fine if you're working with someone else and they get something slightly different. Estimating means a rough idea. If you were to give me an answer that the HST was $10, I'd probably be like, I would have to see how you got to $10. If you were to tell me that the HST was $100, I'd be like, no, that's wrong. That's too far. $10 is close enough that maybe an estimation, if I saw your work, I could probably say, yeah, that's probably okay. I mean, it's definitely going to be less than that, but it's a rough idea. That's fine. Even $20 would probably be too much for me to say, that's going to be too much in terms of an estimation. It's not very logical. We want logical estimations, but we do not need exact answers. Okay, so now we're going to practice estimating the sales and the total cost, and then finally the actual cost. So these are all the steps, and I've got a little chart here on my screen to just keep it organized. You don't have to do it like this, but you can, because again, remember, we're estimating, and then we're going to compare it to the actual cost. So we're just organizing information. So we have a calculator that the regular price is $15.79, and we have a discount of 15%. So we need to estimate the sales price. So I'm going to say my regular price, I'm going to say is, so 15.79 is pretty close to $16. So I'm going to say it's $16. You could also, again, we're estimating, so you could do $20. If that was a friendlier number, that would be fine. You can estimate, it's okay to do something slightly different as long as it's friendly. If you were to do $15, that would be okay too. If you did $10, that would be too low. That's too far away from the regular price. Generally, I round up because then it means that I'm estimating more than less. But you could do $15 as well, and that would be okay. So then the discount rate is 15%. So I'm going to think about this as 10% and 5% to help me figure it out. So to estimate the sales price, so 10% I have to take off. So I'm going to take off, so 10% of $16 is $1.60. And 5%, well, that's half of 10%. So I'm going to say that's 80 cents. So the discount, so $1.60 plus 80 cents is $2.40 is how much I'm taking off. So I'm going to say, well, that's roughly $2.50 because again, estimating. So 16 take away $2.50 is equal to, well, 16 take away $2 is $14, take away another 50 cents is $13.50. So roughly my sales price is about $13.50. So then the estimate of my HST, so 10% of $13.50 is $1.35, and 1/3 of 10% of this amount is equal to, so 1/3 of $1.35 isn't super friendly, but I know that 1/3 of $1.20, I know 1/3 of 12 is 4. So 1/3 of $1.20 would be 40 cents. So I'm just going to say 40 cents. Because again, does not need to be exactly. So approximately my tax is going to be $1.75. So the estimate, so that one I'm going to have to add on to. So $13.50 plus $1.75 is equal to, well, 50 cents plus 75 cents is $1.25. So then add that dollar to 13 and $1 is going to be $15. So the total cost is going to be about $15.25 is my estimate. So now they want us to calculate the actual sale price. So now we're going to compare it to when we're doing the actual amounts. So I'm going to do $15.79 times I'm going to times it by 85% because 100% take away 15% is equal to 85%. So if I do that on my calculator, $15.79, so this is like the second method, times 0.85 is equal to $13.42. $13.42. Remember, what did I guess it was going to be? My estimate was $13.50. So $13.42 is pretty close. So then to figure out the actual HST, so $13.42 times 13%, $13.42 times 0.13 is equal to $1.74. Equal to $1.74. I estimated that my HST was going to be $1.75. So again, quite on. I have not done these questions. I did not. I just did the questions as you saw me do and listened to me doing the questions. So it's not like I prepared this to make my estimations really good. They just, based on the logic that I did in front of you, is how I got the answers. I wasn't pre-prepared. just so you know. So add those two together and we get $15.16 is how much the actual cost will be. $15.16. And my estimate was my cost was going to be $15.25. It is completely fine if your estimation was not as close as this. You do not need your estimation to be this close. But in this case, that's what happened, is that the estimation ended up really close based on what was logical for me. So if I would have said, okay, I have $15.25 in my pocket, then I know that I can actually buy that calculator. The calculator would have been, my cost was actual less than that. So it was okay. Okay, so let's look at another example. So a bookcase is $59.98. So I'm going to, when I find my discount, I'm going to assume that my price is $60. Make it a friendly number. My discount rate is a third off. So a third of, that means that I'm paying 2/3. So a third off of $60 is $20 off. So that means I'm going to take away $20. So the estimate of my sales price is going to be $40. Then the estimate of my HST, so 10% of 40 is $4. And then a third of 10%. So a third of $4 is, well, for the third of $3 is $1. So a third of $4 is going to be a little bit more than that. So I'm going to say $1.25. I'm just guessing. It's okay that it's not right. Exact, right? Remember, estimating. So the estimate of the total cost is going to be $41.25 is my estimation. So if we do the actual price, we're going to do the actual calculation. So we have $59.98 times 2/3. Because if I take off 1/3, I'm going to do it, I'm going to be left with 2/3. So 59.98 times 2 divided by 3, 2/3 is 39.98 cents. So $39.99. $39.99. I estimated that was 40. We're still pretty close. So then $39.99 times 13% is equal to 99. Oops, I didn't press enter last time. $39.99 times 0.13 is equal to $5.20. $5.20. So I'm like, wait a second, why did my estimation so low? Because I forgot to add the 10% onto. I just added the 1/3. So this is wrong. I made a mistake. It probably wouldn't have been the end of the world anyway, but that's why I was wrong. So then my actual cost is $39.99 plus $5.20. So calculate that. $39.99 plus $5.20 is equal to $45.19. My estimation was $46.25. The actual price was $45.19. So again, pretty close. Even when I had it wrong and I had $41.25, even when I made that mistake, that's still pretty close. The estimation, but it's also why it's nicer to have your estimation be a little bit higher if you round up, because then you have enough money. Whereas if I estimated that it was going to be $41.25, I might not have actually had enough money to pay for that. So that's why I generally round up. And that's how you estimate the sales, total cost, and then actually finding the cost, comparing the two. And you can see how estimating can work pretty well. So now you can do your questions, support questions on page 55, question number 11. All right, so we have a few more questions. So I'm just going to do a couple of, I'm going to maybe do one Okay, we're gonna do, no, I'm not gonna do that one. That one I feel like is gonna take too long. Okay, so here we have an example. A clothing store had a buy 2 items and get the lower price item at half price sale. Janice purchased a top with a regular price of $39.99 and pants with a regular price of $44.99. What is the total of her bill before taxes? So for this discount, we have to buy 2 things, and the second one of the things, the one that's lower, is going to be cut in half. So to estimate this, or to calculate this, it tells us to calculate, not to estimate. It's important if it says what was her total bill before taxes, it doesn't say estimate, then you need to do the actual calculation. So we have the top, which was $39.99, and the pants, which was $44.99. So the top is lower, so that one is going to have a 50% discount. So to figure that out, $39.99 times 50% is equal to, and I really want to estimate, I want to say, well, it's $40, so it's going to be $20 is the sale price, but it told us to calculate, so we do not want to do, we're not estimating. So it's going to be $19.99 at 0.5, which actually rounds up to $20. So $20 is how much the shirt is going to be, plus $44.99 for the pants. So $64.99 is her total before taxes. So then what is it after taxes? So $64.99 was the total before taxes. So times 13% for HST. So that I could also, like, you can use estimation to sort of gauge to make sure that your numbers are right. So 13% of $65 is going to be $60.50 or $6.50. So with another third, which is going to be about $8.50, is going to be what my tax should be, someplace close to that. So if I actually calculate it, $64.99 times 0.13, and I got $8.45. So that I was expecting it to be around $8.45, or $8.50 is what I said. So having that, doing that estimation in my head mean that I knew where I should be approximately. So even though I needed to actually calculate it, having that estimation means that I could tell that I didn't make a mistake on my calculator, because I had a number that was around the number I was expecting, which, as you remember, my calculator, when I press buttons, keeps doing it wrong. So having a rough idea of what you want it to be is really helpful. So then you add your price and your taxes together, and we get $73.44. So the total bill will be $73.44 after taxes. That's how using estimation can help you, even if you're doing the exact calculation. Okay, so Enid buys a cordless mouse with the original price of $79.95 and a USB key original price of $8.50, both on sale for 25% off and having subject to HST. Will $75 be enough for both items? So Enid has $75 in cash, assuming. With the 25% off, will that be enough for this amount? So we can estimate for this, even though it doesn't say, but because we're just trying to figure out if it will be enough, we need to justify it, but we can estimate to see if it's actually going to be enough. So the original price we can add first. So I'm going to say $80 for the cordless mouse, and I'm going to say $10 for the USB key. So that's $90. So we're estimating that the original price is $90. So for the sale price, they're both on sale at 25% off. So 90 times 25% is 90 times 0.25. So we're going to calculate that to figure out how much we have to take off. Not subtract, sorry. Times 0.25 is $22.50. So that's a discount. So the sale price is going to be 90, take away $22.50. So now we can subtract that. Sorry, I didn't press enter before. So that's $67.50. So then the tax we're going to estimate. So we want 13% of that, right? So we're going to say 10% is $6.75, and a third of that 10% is going to be $2.25. So the tax in total is going to be $9. So $67.50 plus $9 is going to be $76.50. So chances are pretty good that $75 is not enough. It's pretty close, so you might want to do it exactly, but it probably won't be enough. So $75 might not be enough. If you get an answer that is this close, your estimation, is not going to be exact enough. So you want to probably go back and do it exactly instead of using estimation. All right, so let's quickly consolidate. Previously, we talked about when making purchases, we talked about making change in sales tax. Today, we talked about discounts. So taking off first your discount and then adding the sales tax. And we talked about estimating discounts, taxes, and total costs, as that estimation can be really useful. So now hopefully you can do all three of the 6X criteria, and then you can calculate discounts, sales prices, and after-tax costs of various items. So as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out and contact me. We wrapped up lesson 5 today. So now unit 1 is officially, we've covered all the material in unit 1. So it would probably be a great idea to do your practice problems, do your key questions for those and send them to me. It is better to send them to me in chunks opposed to sending all 20 of the lessons at the same time. That takes me a long time to mark them and get them back to you. And if you're struggling with anything, there's not really a chance to recover. It's going to be hard to do that. So it's best to either send me one lesson at a time or one unit at a time. I strongly encourage. If you want to give me a call at 807-737-1488, extension 2209, or toll free at 1-800-667-3703. You can email me at bronwyn.slate@nnec.on.ca or connect with me through Facebook Messenger at bslatewahsa. This lesson has been recorded and I will upload it to YouTube also at bslatewahsa shortly after airing. And all of our other lessons for Unit 1 are there as well. So I strongly encourage you to touch base there to make sure that you have all the tools that you need. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day. Miigwech.